Hello, Skyward Fighter crew. Welcome back to the channel where we dive to Pinto, the coolest, most cutting-edge military tech in the skies. And today, we've got something massive to talk about. The US Air Force just revealed jaw-dropping news about the B-21 Raider, their next-gen stealth bomber that's got military experts buzzing. Not only is ASACON B-21 about to take flight, but Air Force is ramping up production in a big way. Why? Because the world's changing fast and this beast is set to redefine long-range strike missions. We're breaking down everything you need to know: the tech, the strategy, the funding, and why this plane is agamaker. So, grab a seat, hit that like button, and let's soar into the future of air power with the B-21 Raider. The B-21 Raider is the Air Force's shiny new stealth bomber built by Northrop Grumman, and it's designed to slip through enemy defenses like a ghost. The first B-21 took to the skies in November 2023, and according to General Thomas Bazier, head of Air Force Global Strike Command, it's been flying about twice a week. That's a solid test schedule for a plane this advanced. Now here's the big: a second developmental test B-21 is about to join the party. In a July 2025 interview with Air and Space for Zes Magazine, Lucier said this: "Second bird will fly shortly." That's huge because IHM means the program is moving fast. The Air Force is tight-lipped about how many planes are being built, but back in 2022, they let slip that at least 6 Air, in various stages of construction, and busier. He's thrilled with how are going, saying the production and testing are on track. So, why is the B-21 such a big deal? It's not just about stealth, it's about balancing cutting tech with practicality. Unlike some pie-in-the-sky projects, the B-21 isn't trying to reinvent the wheel. Instead, it takes everything the Air Force learned from the B-2 Spirit, its older, stealth bomber, cousin, and makes it better. Think improved stealth materials, easier maintenance, and a design that's built to fly more often. Beer calls it an evolutionary step, not a wild leap into untested tech. That's a smart move because it keeps costs down and reliability up. The B design was shaped by decades of B-2 experience with input from pilots, maintainers, and engineers. They've tweaked everything from cockpit displays to access panels, making it easier for crews to keep this bird in the air. The goal: a bomber that's ready to roll whenever the Air Force needs it without the headaches of older systems. Now, let's talk money and the B-21 program just got a massive boost from Congress with a reconciliation bill pumping $4.5 billion into increasing production capacity. That's not pocket change. Busaki Sata's funding wasn't a surprise. They've been planning for it over a year, studying how to ramp up production with that breaking the bank. The Air Force, Northrop Grumman, and other big players crunched the numbers to figure out how to build these bombers faster, while the exact production rate is classified. Hints from defense budget suggest they're aiming for about 7 planes a year at peak. That's a steady clip for a machine this complex. This push is all about replacing aging bombers like the B-52 and B-1, which are getting harder and pricier to maintain. Plus, with global tensions rising, their force knows it needs more of these strike beasts to stay ahead. But wait, what's driving this rush to build more B-21s? Stick around, because that answer might surprise you. So, what's got the Air Force so eager to rank out B-21s? It's all about the world stage. Jen Bizier put it perfectly: the B-21 is about holding a tryst anything on the planet at a time and place of our choosing. That's not just tough talk. It's a recognition that long-range strike capability is more critical than ever. Think about it: Russia's invasion of Ukraine, China's growing military might. These aren't small potatoes. The global environment is shifting, and the US wants to stay a step ahead. The B-21's ability to hit or gets anywhere, anytime, makes it a of that strategy. Plus, their force is dealing with an aging bomber fleet, the B-52s and B-1 South Air Workhorses. But they're old, expensivito maintain, and not as stealthy as modern threats demand. The B-21 is the soar, a modern, reliable platform built for today's challenges. Let's zoom in on the numbers for a second. The Air Force has always said they want marathon 100 B-21s, but there's talk of pushing that to 145. Why the increase? Back in 2018, when they set the 100 plane goal, the world looked different. Fast forward to 2025, and things have gotten Gen. Anthony Cotton, head of U.S. Strategic Command, is also on board with bumping up the numbers. He and Bazier both told Congress that the changing strategic landscape, think Russia and China's moves, calls for a bigger fleet. The $4.5 billion from Congress will help make that happen, be speeding up the production line. Bazier said this funding will make the ramp rate steeper, meaning more plans, but don't worry about budget cuts derailing things. Lucier's confident the program's success will keep it safe. Unlike the B-2, which got slashed from 132 to just 20 planes duetto costs, the B-21's careful design keeps it on solid ground. Speaking of B-2, let's talk about how its lesson shaped the B-21. The B-2 Spirit was a trailblazer, but it wasn't perfect. Maintaining its stealth coating and complex systems was a nightmare, and it couldn't fly as often as the Air Force wanted. The B-21 team took those hedges to heart. They worked closely with B-2 pilots and maintainers to design a bomber that's easier to fix and flees more often. For example, they optimized cockpit controls for pilots and moved access panels to make maintenance a breeze. They also used better material, keep the stealth features intact without constant upkeep. Beer credits the B-21's success to this teamwork between operators, engineers, and Northrop Grumman. It's like they took B-2's playbook, fixed the mistakes, and added some slick upgrades. There's Salt, a bomber that's not just stealthy, but practical. A workhorse that thought can stay in the fight. Think B-21's just a fancy B-2 remake. Hold up, there's a secret sauce in its design, thoughts blowing minds. Keep watching to find out. So, what's the secret sauce in B-21's design? It's all about evolution, not revolution. The Air Force didn't try to build a sci-fi superplane with untested tech. Instead, they took proven stealth technology from the B-2 and made it better, more durable, easier to maintain, and more reliable, based on a judicious blend of new stealth capabilities and practical. For example, the materials used for the B-21 stealth coating are redefine, so it doesn't need Constantro painting like the B-2 did. They also redesigned subcomponents to make repairs quicker. Think access panels that don't trackwire a PhD to open this. Focus on maintainability means the B-21 can fly more missions without being stuck in a hangar. It's not about flashy bleeding-edge tech. It's about building a bomber that works day in and day out. Ready tones were the call when the Air Force needs it. Let's get into the nitty-gritty OFO. They pulled this off. The B-21's design process was a team effort. Northrop Grumman, Air Force engineers, and even B-2 maintainers and pilots worked together from the start. They looked at every pain point from the B-2, like how hard it was to maintain stealth coatings or swap out parts and fix it. For instance, they optimized the cockpit displays to make flying easier for pilots. They also placed access panels in smarter spots so maintainers aren't spending hours just getting to a component. These tweaks might sound small, but they add up to a plane that's less of a diva and more of a real ultimate. The Air Force also learned it from the B-2's upgrades over the years, incorporating those improvements in TEF B-21 from day one. This collaboration ensured the B-21 isn't just a stealth bomber. It's a practical drone built to stay mission-ready with less hassle. Now, here's where it gets interesting. The B-21 isn't just about being stealthy. It's about being versatile, unlike the B-2, which was initially certified only for nuclear missions and later adapted for conventional roles. The B-21 will be ready for both right out of the gate. That's a big deal because it means the Air Force can use it for everything, from strategic strikes to precision attacks, no waiting required. Northrop Grumman has even said the B-21 will be a day, meaning it's designed to be in the air constantly, not sitting in a buyer clarified that all Air Force planes are daily flyers in a sense. But the B-21's design makes maintenance so streamlined that it can stay operational with less downtime. That's huge for a military that needs tow ready at a moment's notice. The focus in reliability and versatility makes the B-21 a Swiss Army knife of bombers. Could the B-21 go into combat tomorrow? You won't believe how close it is to being battle ready. Stay tuned. Alright, let's tackle the big question. Could the B-21 actually see combat soon? An Air Force spokesperson said the early test models could be pressed into service if absolutely needed, but Becerra's clear. There's no plan to throw these test birds into battle just yet. The focus is on making sure the test planes and production planes are as close as possible in design. Why so when the B-21 officially hits the field? It's ready to roll without any gaps. In capability, this tight integration between testing and production is a big reason the program's doing so well. Unlike older programs, where test models were wildly different from the final product, the B-21's test and production versions are nearly identical. That means, when these bombers start rolling out, they'll be combat ready from day one, certified for both nuclear and conventional missions. It's a smart move that saves time and ensures the Air Force gets what it needs. Let's talk about the production side. The Air Force is keeping the exact production return to wraps, but the $4.5 billion boost from Congress is all about speeding things up. Bouzier said this funding will make the production line steeper, meaning more B-21s will roll out faster. While the goal is still more than 100 planes, there's talk of pushing that to 145, especially with global threats heating up. The Air Force learned from B-2's budget cuts, which gutted its numbers, and they're being careful with B-21. Former Pentagon acquisition chief William Lott, who helped develop the B-21 program years ago, said the low initial production rate was deliberate to avoid those same budget traps. But Sierra's not worried, though he says program's success so far makes it a safe bet, with testing going smoothly and no major tech hiccups. The B-21 is in a solid path to becoming the backbone of the Air Force's bomber fleet. one last thing to touch on. There was some early talk about the B-21 having an uncrewed version where it could fly without a pilot. That was part of the original 2015, the contract for the long-range strike bomber, which became the B-21. But Basir says that's not in the cards right now. The focus is on the crewed version built to be as effective and reliable as possible. Maybe down an uncrewed option could come back into play. But for now, the Air Force is all about getting these bombers into service with pilots in the cockpit. It's a practical choice. Crewed machines give commanders more flexibility, especially for complex strategic strikes. Plus, with all the work Putinto making the B-21 easy to fly and maintain, it's clear the Air Force wants a platform that's ready for humans to operate in any scenario. From nuclear deterrence to precision strikes, the B-21 Raider is shaping up to be a Totagamecher, from its stealthy design and practical upgrades to its ramped-up production and combat readiness. This bomber is set to dominate the skies. For decades, the Air Force is playing it smart, learning from the B-2's challenges and building a plane that's reliable, versatile, and ready for today's global threats. What do you think? Will the B-21 live up to the hype? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's get conversation going. If you love this deep dive, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next video. Thanks for fleeing with us, and we'll catch you in the next one.